Uh, so
You don't really have to answer that. I was just crossed my mind. Like most people have a
no,
fan page and then their personal Facebook. You just one
yeah.
and done.
So I never created a fan page because I only kind of used it for wrestling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have family and stuff on there, but I try to never have personal stuff like stuff with my kids. Fans are weird.
Yeah. Your
So
your fans, like I think wrestling fans are a little more extreme in their fandom than music fans.
yeah, I mean, I still when I wrestle in Milwaukee, there's a fan that used to come to every show. And my oldest kid, I brought him twice to a show. He was like 5 at the time, right? He's 12 now. And that guy, every time I wrestle, will corner me sometime. He's kind of a weird guy. I mean, I think he means well, but he
Right.
will corner me and be like, "Hey, how's your kid? How's he doing? Growing up?" Yeah, great. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing.
it's like a common ground, so he gravitates towards that.
Yeah.
Like so when I still lived in Sheboygan with my parents and I was playing in Sky and the Execution, there was a kid who really really liked our band. He was our super fan. And there was one day he found out where I lived, and then he brought a bunch of his friends over, and my dad is like, "Hey, why are there like 6 kids pointing at my house right now?" And it was Superfan and his buddies, and I was like, "Fuck!" And like even 10 years after that, anytime I would run into him, he would only ever ask about that band.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, all I know is your name," because we made fun of him. But
Right.
like maybe I don't know, just don't talk to me. So I get your pain, kind of.
Yeah.
So you said you've been wrestling for how long? A long fucking time?
Since 2003.
Really? And you're my age, so that before you were out of high school, you were wrestling? Wow. What made you get into wrestling? I wanted to ask you this during the live stream, and Dylan told me I couldn't ask you guys personal questions.
You can ask me as many personal questions as you'd like.
All right, pant size, dick length. Let's do this.
Well,
Nope, you regretting that one now?
yeah. Um, so I grew up watching wrestling, obviously,
Most of us
like
did.
every kid
Yeah.
our age. I don't know, it's just something I thought would be cool to do. And I kind of bonded over it, watching it with my grandma. So, it's, one of those things. And then it was just like every kid our age, I backyard wrestled for a while because that was the cool thing to do.
Yeah, I did Jello wrestling once.
Did you?
Yep.
I've never had the pleasure, but
it was at a park in Cleveland, Wisconsin. I came home dyed red, and my mom was not happy. It's the only time I wrestled.
I came home covered in raw sewage once or twice, and my grandmother wasn't happy. So yeah, that.
Hold on.
Yeah, I was like, how did you get covered in raw sewage?
What's that?
How did you get covered in raw sewage?
Well, immersing myself in raw sewage. Like how else you?
Okay, why did you immerse yourself in raw sewage?
We used to spend a lot of time crawling through the pipes underneath mire.
I was waiting for the point in this in which you told me it was a joke.
I wish I was.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
So I am deeply claustrophobic and quite stupid. So my impressionable ass self at 14, 15 years old would crawl into the pipes under mire with my friends because it was the closest we had to playing D&D, I guess. And sometimes the pipes were large enough for you to crawl through, but they would also be half covered in ice and water, and you would fall through and probably die. And other times, it was just, let's see how far we can get. Can we make it all the way across mire widthwise, which is quite far, to see if we can pop up at our high school, which was several miles away. Didn't make it.
Okay.
Did not make it.
Yeah. That took a turn.
Yeah.
Didn't expect to start talking about shit. Sorry, raw sewage.
But it kind of goes with the theme of the movie this week.
Okay.
Kinda.
Okay. So, okay. Okay. So we were supposed to record this yesterday, and I got called into work because something broke, and then I rebroke it again today, but that's a different story. I text Corey about it, and he just starts to tell me about how he's basically dabbing when he wipes at this point because it hurts so bad. and that he didn't think he would be able to get through an entire episode because of his trips to the bathroom.
I took probably 3.5 hours to watch this film.
It's
The
like
first
82
time.
minutes, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I kept having to stop to run, not walk, downstairs to use the bathroom for very long periods of time.
Have I ever
And
learnt
then-
you on the term sausage thrower?
I've not heard that.
Okay, so it's coined by a buddy, a friend of ours, dad, actually, friend of the show, Seth. His dad once referred to having to shit instantly as a sausage thrower because one time he had to shit so bad he got up and he threw the sausage he was eating to run to the bathroom.
I thought it was like you just putting your ass out and throwing sausages at everybody.
That's what I thought it was
referred
gonna
to
be.
as- I was shitting taco meat yesterday. It was a horrible time for everyone involved. It was mostly me, but also you because I texted.
That was funny. It was a day.
You were way into it.
Bender, have you ever had a sausage thrower during a match?
Um,
Have you shit your pants during a match?
yeah.
Have you really?
Yep.
Oh, man, you wrestling guys poop a lot.
No, well, yeah.
Oh, now you got to tell the story. You're not getting out of this one that easy.
So I was super one time was a close call. The other time, yes and no, right? So both times I was severely hungover, and
happen.
my old tag team partner and I were in a gauntlet. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a gauntlet, right? So, like, we start in a tag match against another team, and then then another team comes out and wrestles the winner, and it keeps going until there's a final winner, right?
Yeah.
So it's like an 8-team gauntlet. We're the starting team, and the promoter wants us to go like 45, 50 minutes, whatever, like get as close to an hour as we can fill, and we're winning. Well, I have to shit before we go through the curtain. Like, this is not good, right? It's gonna be a long. I might have to like call. It's small show, so part of me is like, I can kind of take liberties here. Maybe I'll just call a timeout and run to the bathroom, and it'll be like a funny part of the show, even though we're like these serious big, bruiser type guys or whatever, drinking beer and stuff. And I took a spine buster.
Oh.
Pretty sure the dude's shoulder somehow went through my stomach and touched my spine. Like he just drove me into the mat, and then it turtled. And then it was like one of those things where I'm not selling my back. I'm actually checking to make sure I didn't shit through my trunks down my legs all over the mat. Yeah.
It's like kids. You came here for a wrestling show, but now you get a Guar concert.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you ever see the video of the UFC? I shouldn't say do. It's an MMA fighter who shits his pants. Like a guy puts him in a chokehold, and he very clearly shits his pants, and then he just falls to the ground and taps out, and then plays dumb when there's shit falling out of his shorts and like all over the mat. Like, ugh.
Yep.
I don't ever want to be in that position. So it didn't run down your trunks, though, right? Or it did?
No.
Okay, so
Nope.
it's contained,
Yeah.
but still.
God.
Did you finish the match?
Yep.
Squishy pants.
That was the first. That was the first team when it happened. That was the end of the first part of the match.
Did you just throw your clothes out when you were done?
No, I just washed him.
Oh.
I've had worse. I mean,
What is worse than shitting yourself and then doing physical activity for 45 minutes, did you say?
yeah, roughly.
Someone else shitting you?
Yeah.
So what's someone else shitting on you? I guess
pretty bad.
you do have children, so you're probably used to... Well, at this time, I'm assuming you didn't have kids.
Yeah, no, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I had my oldest.
Okay, so you were pretty used to being wrist deep and poopy at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, but there's a difference between the shit you know and the shit you don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I know my dog shit, but when I wiped it on my face the other day, I wasn't happy about it.
No. Why would you be?
Yeah, I mean, like I've wrestling. It's gross. I've been in matches where somebody will puke, and like guys just get hyperventilate or whatever, or obviously it's not a secret that wrestling also attracts lots of people that have substance problems, right? And so guys will be all filled up, and then they try to exert themselves physically, which isn't great,
Ooh.
and then they just puke. And so I've been on a couple of shows where, like, walking to the ring, somebody in the middle of a match will puke off the side of the ring and not tell anybody in the locker room, and the fans aren't going to clean it up. You know, I mean, we're talking small time here. This isn't like a huge production where there's millions of dollars and there's people to clean the floor. We're the guys cleaning the floor at the end of the night too, you know? So they won't say anything, and then you walk to the ring and slip and puke.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, I mean, at least the shows I've been to of yours seem clean-ish. I shouldn't say that. There was a guy who shit his pants in front of us one time.
It wasn't me, though. Right?
No. It was a fan. It was June. I believe it was a June show. And he had like 6 Mountain Dews before intermission.
Oh, yeah.
And he just stood up, and I was like, "Oh, yeah." In fact, normally I get really, really drunk at those things. I haven't so much lately because now I know a bunch of you guys, so
Yeah.
I have to like be kind of an adult. But yeah, there was some of the ones up in Appleton. There was a Tanner show where we nicknamed a guy in the front row Whiskey Sour because that's all he drank all night. And was just super
those are
belligerent.
perfect.
Oh, they're great, but not like 9 of them at a two. What was it? The rest they're usually at like 3 on Sundays. That's like a
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon.
I've definitely done at least 9 at a wedding when I was 15. Yeah,
I'm really back into old fashions these days,
I can understand that.
and not like a dry hand job, but the drinks. Yeah, I don't know, Binder. What do you? You're normally a beer guy, or do you drink mixed drinks?
Usually it's vodka and water, but
Now, explain to me why.
why?
Like vodka doesn't have much taste, and now you're watering it down.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're in it to win it. You're not in it for flavor.
Well, it depends. So, like, I prefer Tito's over everything, and it's got a little bit of a bite. You can taste it a little bit.
Okay.
I don't like fruit, and I don't like a lot of ice cubes either. So I used to be just a Jack with like 3 cubes and a splash of water in it. You know. I'm getting old. I don't like. To be honest, I don't drink that much anymore because I can't come back from that hangover. Is like
Knock
not
on
a
wood.
couple of hours, it's days.
Knock on wood. I haven't had one that has spanned 2 days yet. But I feel like if I just keep punishing myself, my body will never get used to feeling normal. So I'm always some kind of shitty feeling.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you've gone swimming and you've got water in your ear for like a week, and then all of a sudden it releases, and you go, "I thought I could hear this whole time, but no, this is this new enlightenment." Like
Yeah.
the one week that Matt has been, I don't know, put under or kidnapped or something like that, and he's actually dry. He'll finally start to feel like a human being again.
When I'm trying to think, since this whole shutdown, I think there's 2 days I haven't had at least something to drink, and that makes me sound like an alcoholic. But I had like half a beer yesterday, so
Yeah, but is it half a beer like out of boredom, or is half
No,
a
no,
beer,
no, no,
like,
no.
with dinner?
no.
Was it half a beer because you finally broke consciousness after being drunk for 3 days
Okay,
straight?
let me-
And then it's like, oh, I'm awake now. It's 11:30 p.m. I'm having half a beer.
This will not.
Try this out.
This story will not help my case. I was actually thinking of the day before, not yesterday. The day before, I had half a bottle of beer, only because so Buddy and I, the way that we've been sharing beer is we'll take like the large format bottles and then just cap, or like I still have all my beer caps from when I used to bottle beer, so I'll recap them and then drop them off at his house and then pick shit up. So he had 3 for me and I had 2. So to make a third one, I drank half a beer to give him that. Don't shake your fucking head at me. It's not like I was just gonna dump out half a beer.
No, it's an imperative. It's an imperative that I have this beer.
Whatever. I thought I had it and I was like, I'll have a couple, and then I had half one and I was like, I'm not into it tonight. What is that, Sunday? What the fuck did I do Sunday? Oh, I was supposed to be on someone else's podcast, and then he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm hungover, and the other guys don't want to do it." I'm like, I fucking rescheduled mine to what was supposed to be yesterday, which is now today, to do this, and then I'm like, fucking whatever. Fucking people. So you shit yourself trying to watch Blair Witch, which is what we're going to talk about.
I didn't shit myself. I made it to the bathroom. It just took multiple trips. Like every time I get down there, and I think I was done. I'm pushing 50 now. I kind of recognize, yeah, this is probably going to be most of my day. By the second time through, I'm like, I fucking fool me once, but not now.
So
but it was like I was getting to the top of the stairs and going, yeah, I'm not going to be up here but more than a minute, and then just like turning around and going back down again.
should have just taken your phone into the bathroom and finished the movie on the toilet.
No, so I also was looking for the movie, and every place wanted to fucking charge me, and I'm like, I'm not paying for this goddamn piece of shit. But it turned out that because I'm a Comcast subscriber, I went to just see. Well, maybe it's on Comcast, just on an F, and it's part of their new Peacock rollout, which I had been wondering when and if I was going to get that, and it's just like, hey, yeah, you want to watch Blair Witch? No, I don't. Well, we're gonna fucking let you anyway. Welcome to Peacock. Like, yeah, this is. I got cocked by watching the Blair Witch Project, which I watched again after finally like settling. Like, it's not going to be last night. I was just like, I can't tell you anything that happened in this fucking movie other than me being annoyed and crapping my eyes out. So I rewatched it again directly after, and that just made me miserable.
I do want to point out, since I know, Corey, you're probably in the YouTube chat, Erica is drunk, so she's going to be a lot more snippy than normal. Bender, you're not missing anything because she's a fucking shit human, and I kind of hope she chokes on her next margarita. The lime just gets lodged in her throat, and then it goes, and then Dan thinks she's possessed, so he beats her with a baseball bat. Fingers crossed.
Do you think she's a basic lime?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain.
I love basic lime margaritas. I used to drink the mix without the alcohol.
They're too like zippy. Like there's too much tang, lime, zip. I like strawberry
sometimes.
Like, yeah, I'm kind of a bitch. Like I'm a fruit bitch.
But you give me a strawberry daiquiri, and I'll fucking knock the hell out of that.
There is a funny picture on the internet, which you don't have to look very hard to find. It is me drinking a strawberry daiquiri in a death metal band shirt. Yeah. Look, basic lime, spicy mango, those are my faves. Well, you're the type of person that uses the word fave, too. Today was basic lime, which is what we all assumed. So, back to the Blair Witch. I really wanted to watch the Bear Wench Project, which is something we talked about doing, and we keep missing April Fools.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're dumb. But, yeah, so this movie, it reminds me a lot of middle school because that's when it came out. Like, I remember watching it on VHS before going to a middle school dance.
I met my wife when I watched this movie. Like, Aaron and I were newly dating when this thing came out. So, fuck you.
So, I'd like to point out the fact that Erica's husband, Dan, just texted me a picture of him holding a bat. So, my plan is coming to fruition, boys. A fruit bat? Is that what you said, a fruit bat?
Yeah, I was asking, what did you mean by a bat?
It's a baseball bat.
Okay.
It's like a little one. But, Binder, you're the same age as me. So, and that's the reason I asked what year you graduated while I was watching this. Is because that is like I don't even want to say best memory, but it's literally my first memory of this movie was they had this little like 12, 18-inch TV that sat on top of a dresser in my bedroom, and just putting the VHS in that and watching it before we went to this dance. So I guess I'm curious if like that's why you wanted to watch this movie, because it has some sort of something to your childhood.
So I kind of have a fun story. So I remember like the build up and all that, like watching the trailers for the movie, which were super creepy. Mm-hmm. And my best friend at the time and I, like, we talked about it for a week before it came out. So we go to the movie store and rent it. And, we're going to order pizza and have a sleepover and the whole thing, right? It's super exciting. And my dad watched the movie with us, and the whole time he's just scoffing. Like, my dad's like kind of a big biker, like man's man kind of dude, So the whole time he's just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever watched. And then we're so freaked out. And then he's like, all right, time to go to sleep, like whatever, right? And we're sleeping in the living room, and we woke up in the morning, and he had woken up just before us and went outside and gathered rocks and put piles at our heads. So we, of course we wake up and we're freaking out.
That's awesome.
I mean, I think this movie and Scream were like the two that I remember the most as a kid being like, kind of huge projects. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember the viral marketing was really big on this one, and that's kind of
Really
what most people remember. I believe there was like an internet game, like not a hide and seek, but like a scavenger hunt or some shit.
So the thing that I remember with this is, like I said, Erin and I had just started dating. So her and a bunch of her friends, my friend Cork, his girlfriend, they were all 19, 20. I was in my mid 20s, and so we'll just go with that. And they had the buy-in was 100% on this. Like, we all thought it was real. We hadn't seen it yet. It was coming out the next day or something. But one of them had downloaded what they thought was the footage from it on the internet. And it turned out that was the actual movie. Like, they had gotten it. But they had done like some fake specials and stuff. They had introduced the whole Blair Witch thing on another show. So all this stuff was out there and making it feel like it was real. And they had on the IMDb thing, which is still pretty new at that point, that these people were all still considered missing. The actors who were in this went by their real name, so they were listed as being missing at that point in time. So everybody watched the movie over at my apartment that night, and we all thought this was real footage. We had no idea. And looking at it now, it's like, well, what fucking obvious bullshit. But at that point in time, certainly on a 19-inch TV as well, you had the buy-in. You just kind of bought it. The hardest thing for me is the carrying the fucking cameras everywhere. But at least one of the guys keeps saying, why the fuck do you have to keep filming us? Don't you understand this is stupid? Why do you keep doing that? And then he does later on say, oh, I get it now because it takes you out of reality. Which at that point in time was still pretty new. We weren't used to looking through cell phones at everything.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of research like before this. I watched it Friday night, and that's one of the things that I saw that came up was that they built like their website and did a couple of different things, like Corey was saying, where they rolled this out to try to make people believe that it was a real story. Like did a special on, whatever it would have been at that time, like a Discovery or something like that. And, maybe that's the charm of the movie.
But did you ever see Cannibal Holocaust?
No.
I mean, don't. Like, this is not me endorsing watching that movie. It is fucking gnarly. But it was another one where they very much tried to push, like, it's real and all this stuff happened and all these people are missing. Like, that guy, and I think that came out in the 80s, but that guy was taken to court over the murders of the people and then had to, like, hunt them down and be like, you need to come to this and prove that this was just a movie. Like, it was some real shit. So I think, like, Blair Witch probably, the guy was a big fan of that, and I'm sure I could spend 5 minutes Googling it and figure it out, but this is an internet show, so what I'm saying is right. But I'm guessing the guy was a big fan of, like, Cannibal Holocaust, and that's kind of what he was going for. It was our generation's Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, and he treated it like it was supposed to be found footage, which was there was real found footage stuff like this that was scary, and he found that was more terrifying than a horror film. So he's like, well, what if I take a horror film, but I do it as found footage? It wasn't a brand new concept, but it was very much new at that moment. It wasn't something that people had seen a lot of, and then it got copied by everybody after that.
Yeah, naturally, when someone else has a good idea, just redo it a bunch of times. That's the American way.
Yeah, I don't know that it was a good idea. It worked once, and it made an incredibly successful film, but the replay value is shit, I think, and it just... everything that's come after it has been universally terrible in the sense of the found footage thing. Like, they may have good stories, they may have good acting, but they're still found footage, and it's just so frustrating to watch that crap.
So, before we get back... Okay. So, having watched the first one, I decided on Sunday morning that we were going to watch Book of Shadows then also.
Oh, yeah.
I told my wife, like, let's watch all three. Watched Book of Shadows, and I forgot how horrible that movie is. Beatmaster in the chat is trying to say that Book of Shadows is good. And I know, Binder, you think it's shit too. I'm sure Corey thinks it's shit,
I have a love for it.
but why?
Because now that's one thing I'll say about the Blair Witch is that its sequels didn't try to do the same thing over again, which is something that I don't like at all about the Paranormal Activity movies, where it's just the same fucking thing again and again and again, and you get like 30 seconds of an actual story by the end of it. Book of Shadows, I find charming in the fact that it really was trying to do something that was evocative of the Blair Witch, but not doing the Blair Witch a second time. And that, if that's all I can say about it, that's still a step up.
Yeah.
So Beat says that he said quite decent, not good. So he says quite decent does not equal good. Whatever. Fucking, I guess I was wrong. But I remember not hating it, and then I rewatched it, and it was just really cheesy, and the acting was really bad. But the story wasn't horrible. Like I kind of liked Human Centipede does this too, where like the next movie exists in the universe of the previous. So if you've never seen Human Centipede, the first one obviously is about a German doctor who makes a human centipede. The second one is a super fan who really liked the movie, so he makes his own human centipede. And then the third one is a sheriff at a jail who really liked the guy who made the human centipede in the last movie, so he makes this jail yard human centipede. Yeah, they're fucking... The third one is so goddamn ridiculous. Like, I had to watch Paul Blart 2 to, like, cleanse my palate. It was...
And then that part where he got everybody together in the mall and made a human centipede out of him.
Paul Blart 3, human centipede cop?
Right.
Human
Might be
copipede?
onto something.
No,
Might
no
be a
one wants
millipede.
that.
What he would do is he would hang him off the balcony and then toss a coin in one and see if he could get it in the fountain when it comes out the other end.
This is highbrow comedy here.
Yeah. All Blart 3. Make a wish.
Ah, damn it. I wonder if they're going to make a Paul Blart 3.
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
That's a franchise I can get behind.
I mean, there's a lot of room back there. Whoa, zing.
Oh, man.
As a fat man, I'm allowed to make jokes at Kevin James'
Didn't he? I
expense.
thought he lost a bunch of weight, or
I'm sure he did because he can do that. And I
Oh,
can't.
fuck yeah. If I had movie star money, I'd be real thin.
I mean, he looked, big, but solid in Here Comes the Boom, a movie that I did not watch.
King of... What, was that movie any good?
I did not watch it.
I don't believe you for 1 second.
I really didn't.
Blink twice if it was okay.
I'm not blinking.
Damn it. You really didn't watch it. Binder, I bet you've watched it.
It's got Salma Hayek in it, I think. So
I think you're right. Binder, you got this
There's
look
that.
on your face like you watched it.
Yeah, of course.
How is it?
It's pretty decent.
All right. I'm going to totally illegally download this. Sorry.
The thing about
It's no Zookeeper.
right. No. Shit, I can't say anything to that.
I've never seen Zookeeper, but I hear it's pretty bad.
You know.
I mean...
I feel like I'm. Maybe I should comment on that. It's not
Yeah,
bad.
I don't
I
want
don't
to
know.
publicly defend that movie. That's
So you're right.
That's what he's saying. And
So-
Kevin James is not without his charms.
Yeah.
I think that's what we'll go.
Oh, yeah.
Is that as bad as a lot of the Adam Sandler group people are, of like they just make their films and they're crap, and that's okay because they're crap that has an audience. Most of the guys are not necessarily people that I just would enjoy watching in anything. Kevin James is a pretty funny and charming guy in a lot of ways. I can get behind watching a bad movie with him in it.
Yeah. That's a great explanation.
Actually, really is. Did you hear about the Bert Kreischer interview with Adam Sandler, where Bert asked Adam Sandler if he had Netflix? And there was that someone was like, "Hey man, he has a $300 million deal with Netflix. I think they just throw it in."
Right.
That made me think of it because he did that one it was like Murder Mystery or something. Like that was I think one of his last. I thought it was actually really good. It was very much like an updated Clue, but I still thought it was really good.
It was really popular. First of all, don't talk down about Clue.
I wasn't talking down about Clue. I like Clue too.
No, it did very, very well for Netflix, and most of his stuff does. Aaron was watching the one where he was like some Hollywood producer guy or something the other day, and I just kind of wandered through the room, and it was one of his bits that I was not into. Like, he has, again, there'll be the Adam Sandler movies like The Wedding Singer or 50 First Dates or something like that. We're like, oh, okay, yeah, Adam Sandler is pretty good. And then he'll have something where he's like tremendous in it, and then he'll do Little Nicky, and I'm like, fuck you and that shit idea. Like, take a weird voice and make a character out of it. That's all you do. Yet I like The Waterboy in a certain degree.
Yeah.
But it sounded like it was just that kind of, oh, he came up with this weird voice and an annoying trait or two and made a whole movie around it. And that just puts me right out of the room.
I'm trying to think of what movie you're talking about, but now I think I do know what you're talking about.
Little Nicky was the hell one.
No, not that one. The one he's talking where he's the producer. Or
oh, Sandy Wexler.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yep.
And
that's the other thing too, is that it's a Sandler movie because he just throws a name up there and it's like, yeah, it's all about this.
Yeah.
It
could be whatever.
Good?
I couldn't tell you because
did Erin like it?
She didn't turn it off.
Yeah, but I've heard your wife has watched some real turds in her day.
Sure. So do I. Different levels of what we can maintain.
So we watched Extraction before this. Currently number 1 on Netflix. My wife hates action movies, and she turned it on because yesterday she watched Salt and was pleasantly surprised. So now apparently she's into action movies.
Salt was the Angelina Jolie one?
Yes. With that being said, I was doing some of the Eventbrite stuff for ACW, and she was on her phone, and like an hour in, I'm like, I don't know what's happening. All I've heard are gunshots. And then she kind of said the same thing. She's like, I don't know, he's picking someone up, and there's just a lot of gunshots. So I like proceeded to make dinner. I have no idea what the fucking movie's about. I saw Liam Hemsworth get shot and fall off a bridge. That's all I know that happens in the movie. And if you really wanted to see it and I just ruined it for you, I am sorry, but
you just piqued my interest.
I'm not, and that's the thing. Like, I really, I do a Fast and the Furious podcast. I'm into stupid action movies, but I don't fucking know what happened there. I do really want to watch Bloodshot, by the way.
Yeah.
That seems fun. But Beatmaster, I don't know which version of Salt it was. She had to tell me what it was. I saw Angelina Jolie for 2 minutes and did not achieve erection, so I left.
Then I suggest you move on to Atomic Blonde.
Oh, I don't know. If it's not Hackers, I don't want to see Angelina Jolie in anything.
Well, it's not Angelina Jolie. It's Charlize Theron.
Well, I had the Hackers comment cocked.
I know. You're always cocked with hack. You're going off hack cocked.
I love the movie Hackers so much. Bender, have you seen the movie Hackers?
I feel like I probably have, but
I believe it was 95 it came out. Angelina Jolie, you see side boob, partial nipple. Fuck, I don't even know who. I don't know the names of anyone else in it. Here, let me pull this bad boy up.
Johnny Lee Miller,
that
who I think
that
was
guy,
married to her at the time from Trainspotting.
Yeah. Matthew Lillard is the other one. Yeah, who
plays
Jules and everything.
Yeah, he plays serial killer, right?
Yep.
So then the next thing we see him in, he plays an actual serial killer.
Yep.
We got the phone freak, who I only remember that kid from being the little guy dancing around in...
Oh, the Phantom Freak.
On Air.
The Phantom Freak.
Phantom Freak.
Yep. So, anyways, this whole movie, because I love this movie beyond no
Mr.
end.
Stevens.
Oh, yeah!
He's the major back. And
The Plague.
Penn Teller? Or, sorry, Penn Jillette.
Penn Jillette is in it as...
Yeah.
Like the security guard at the Gibson.
I haven't seen this movie since before I originally saw The Blair Witch, so I'm really trolling back here.
Gonna rewatch Hackers, to be perfectly honest. Anyways, Hackers is about it starts out with this kid who's like, I think he's 10 at the time or something, who hacks into some computer and like takes down a bunch of banks, and he gets arrested, and then they're like, you can't touch a computer till you're 18, and then it's like, whoa, 8 years later he's moving to New York. And he's staying up all night, and he's hacking into TV stations, and then he's switching the tapes, and then he gets into like a hack battle where they're trying to change the tape on each other. Dude, this movie is so 90s. Goes to a new school and then like starts meeting all these hackers, and then by the end of it, they find out that the Plague, Fisher Stevens, is trying to steal money from a company, and they're trying to find the worm that he planted in the garbage bin to bring him down. But it is every cheesy like computer trope and bad computer graphics. Dude, it's so goddamn good. When the lockdown is over, I'm gonna make you food. We're gonna drink beer and watch Hackers.
Sounds like a threat.
Yeah, then you're going to regret ever having befriended me.
I would double feature it with Sneakers, but I think Sneakers is going to bring too much class to the joint.
Beatmaster does say Crash and Burn, which is a big one because Johnny Lee Miller is Crash Override because he can't use Zero Cool, which everyone knows him as because that's what he got arrested as. Angelina Jolie is Acid Burn, so at the end they go on a date and it's Crash and Burn.
God damn it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I remember distinctly Fisher Stevens skateboarding through hallways or something like that.
I also want to point out Fisher Stevens played, he was in Short Circuit.
Well, Short Circuit 2, he was
As-
the lead of.
He's like, it's an Indian scientist, correct? That he plays? Yeah.
It's a very not going to happen today. Also,
It was
if
a
you ever
different
get
time.
the chance, watch My Science Project with him and Dennis Hopper, and Fisher Stevens is just basically dropping gay slurs throughout the entire movie as the comic relief. It is rough to watch that now.
Actually sounds right up my alley.
It is in many ways a very charming film, except it's like, oh, I can't play this for anybody.
Eh.
Well, I'm in Michigan. Maybe I can play it for some people.
Now you could, yeah. Maybe if you go up into the UP, you'll be good up there. You're a little too close to civilization.
They're still
Michigan.
on Betamax in the UP.
Oh, man. That reminds me, I have Laserdisc downstairs. No Laserdisc player, but I own Laserdisc. Terminator 2 and Hellraiser, in case you were curious.
Did you hear HBO is going to be doing a Hellraiser series?
Yeah, they're doing another movie, too.
The movie is separate.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
HBO is planning on doing a series about people who became Cenobites.
I really like Cinnamon Bites.
Yeah, Cenobites are
Cenobites. Yeah, I saw that the other day. I didn't pay any attention to when's it's supposed to come out.
and timeline is going to be sketchy right now.
Oh, yeah. There's yeah. People keep complaining about music releases getting pushed. Bender, I know we've talked a shitload about music lately, but I don't think people quite understand that like production plants are shut down, and if no one's pressing your CDs, you can't release them.
Yeah, unless you were pushed back for some other reason previously, and it's already done.
Right.
Right.
But even like Carcass had a new album coming out in August. I know you're both big Carcass fans. They've pushed that one mostly because they can't get it pressed.
If I don't have Carcass to listen to on my drive to church, what am I going to do?
Well, you still can sleep easy. You can listen to Surgical Steel, which is their last major album release.
That is true.
If you want to kill yourself, listen to Swan Song.
That got me through some hard times.
Swan Song is not a good album. Please don't ever listen to it. I know I'm just speaking gibberish at both of you right now.
A little bit.
Yeah, no, Carcass is the definitive like death metal band. Like when a lot of times when people say like what was one of the first death metal bands, it's usually Carcass. I saw penises when I saw them. Like they had video screens and it just kept flashing a dick once in a while. Kind of took me by surprise.
So it's like looking at my wife's Instagram page.
Yeah, you're right.
I am right.
I finally scrubbed that from my brain. Colucci, Bender, if you want to look at Instagram dicks, check out Corey's wife. Hag Attack. Hag_attack. I don't even know if you have an Instagram.
I don't.
I didn't think so. God, you're so bad at social media.
It'd be great to take pictures of your shorts when you're done with a match.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's an audience for that.
Oh, you could sell them.
Guarantee there is.
I need you. Okay, we're going to set up an OnlyFans for you. $15 a month. You can see all your shitty shorts after a match. Do you not know what OnlyFans are?
I have an idea.
Okay, it's like a Patreon but for titties
Right.
and shit shorts.
For titties.
I don't actually.
Sure.
I actually don't know if there are dudes OnlyFans. Like
There should be.
I know. I kind of want to look, but I don't want to get too sidetracked. Like I think it should be like onlybros.com. No.
I mean, you know.
I don't
First of
know.
all, I will guarantee you that onlybros.com is in use for something.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I also forgot to look at the Taco Bell menu.
That's okay. I think
I don't think we have any.
enough about the results of what happens when we have to talk about menu.
This is your life
Not that
on
I have.
Taco Bell. Oh, I think they put the party packs. I think they came out with new party packs. $10 party pack. Is it taco and burrito pack? They're offering free shipping through Grubhub right now,
Yeah.
and they keep giving away
very
free
popular right
Doritos tacos. Every couple of days, Grubhub says they deliver to me, and then they don't. But I feel too bad to let someone bring me food all the way out here, so I just don't do it.
And the thing is you're the kind of person who would actually tip the people who are bringing you the stuff.
Yeah.
And not one of those assholes who's just gonna well, I don't have to see you, so I'm not gonna
Yep.
fucking tip you.
I have been going out to eat once a week, and because I don't like trying new things, I really do, but I like want to sit down and like digest a menu, not like pick on the internet and then tell you. I've been tipping like almost the same price I'm paying because,
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of what you, and yeah, that's fucking whatever. I'm saving so much gas not driving to work every day that I'm just flush with cash right now.
I'm not, but I'm still tipping well because I appreciate the fact that the restaurant across the street is there and is willing to feed me when I need to randomly stop by and pick up a burger or whatever.
You also, how far do you drive for work?
Normally, 40 minutes.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that. Never mind. I take it back. But don't you drive like a go-kart?
I would normally drive a Fiesta, although I've been driving Erin's more recreational vehicle thing that they moved her to because they stopped selling the Focuses when she released last year.
Okay.
So it
Dependable.
was. I'm going through when I was working. I was going through a tank a week, whereas with the Fiesta, it was closer to every 2 weeks.
And now gas is so fucking cheap. I don't know about by you. Here it was $1.05. I feel like I'm losing money by not filling up.
In our town, it's $1.50, but yeah, in where I worked, it was closer to $1.
Yeah, it was 95 cents for a while.
Yeah.
And now I don't even go to work.
I had to go to work today. That was fun.
Well, they said that they're going to have to start wearing masks in the building, and with my breathing issues and heart issues and everything else, I just can't do it.
Your fat cock issues?
Yeah, it's true. I can't wear a mask because people will only be able to identify me by the bulge of my pants.
Okay, so speaking of pants bulges, I don't know I know, Binder, you watch football. Did you see the video of Stephon Diggs running 23 miles an hour on a treadmill?
No.
Okay, so this thing exists. Not only is it just amazing that the guy can run 23 miles an hour, he turns around and his dick is massive. Like he's wearing like compression shorts, and he turns around and all you see is just his meaty sub sandwich.
Well, maybe his dick is what's pulling him forward.
It might be.
He's constantly falling forward, right?
There's-
He can't help.
There's a source of water ahead of him, and the dick is just like, oh, this way. Oh, let's go.
His dick compass.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good. So,
finding a rod.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention to football at all because I'm not real confident there's going to be a season.
there's that. I think they would rather play it with no one in the stands than not play one at all.
Yeah, well, obviously we'll see. But I'm a Lions fan, so
I'm sorry.
yeah, thanks.
I'm not even really any fan, and I'm just gonna make fun of you.
Yeah, so I don't watch football until the season starts because, they have the whole season to let me down. I don't need to pay attention to drafts and stuff.
Lions fan. There's your OnlyFans.com right there.
Oh, boy.
However, I don't know why, but I've been missing baseball.
Is it that you miss baseball, or is it that you just miss a sport?
I don't know, because I like baseball, but it's one of those things that you put on and you kind of half watch while you're cooking dinner, or
Yeah.
it's on while you're doing whatever.
Do you normally go to Timber Rattler games?
I do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I miss that more than anything. I don't like watching it on TV, but I enjoy going. And I don't know, there's something about it.
Yeah, if you're already being held captive in your house for the last 2 months, then you feel like, oh, well, being held captive for a few hours with a bunch of other people where at least they serve us food.
I don't
Overpriced.
Oh,
selections.
they're doing pickup now for food.
Yeah.
You can get like a hot dog and a brat and shit. Although, let me tell you, my crowning achievement in life is when I caught a brat from the Bratzuka. I was there for work. It was like a noon game on a Wednesday or something. And I may have been full of some giggle juice. And we're on the party deck in the outfield. And really only Bender knows what I'm talking about when I say this, but it landed between us. Like, we were the party, if you're looking from home plate, just to the left of, like, that shack. There's, like, that brick building. It serves beer. Yep. So we were there, and then there was, on the other side of, like, the tent, the party hut, was another party, like, another group. So it landed in between the two, and my dumbass goes, "Oh, shit!" And I take off running for it. Another woman from the Donner party comes running at me, too. And I see this, and I lock eyes with her, and I just go, "Box out!" And I turn, and I stick my ass out at her, and I pick it up and just walk away. And, like, everyone's like, "Dude, she looks super bummed." I'm like, she's too slow. Like, all I've ever wanted to do is eat a Bratzuka brat. It's not that great because it's smashed, and then it hits the ground and explodes. But I ate it.
I just want to shoot them.
Oh, fuck, me too. We got to be able to make this happen. With your good looks and my connections.
I've been this close to being able to do all that fun stuff there.
Why not? Why? What happened?
We were actually supposed to run a couple shows there.
Come on.
We still have one tentatively scheduled for the Dock Spiders.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's Fond du Lac, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But, who knows?
Well, ACW or someone else? Okay. Huh. That'd be fucking cool. I hate Fond du Lac, but I would drive there for that.
Yeah.
Did they have a Bratzuka?
They're super cool. Like, when we had the meeting, they were so excited to even talk to us about the option of doing it.
Well, Dylan went with, right?
Yeah, obviously.
So they gave him a phone book to sit on?
The whole time I was just trying to figure out how we can dress him as a spider for the night.
Pretty easily.
Like,
this isn't that hard.
Kind of round, right? Yeah. You just add a couple.
Just put some legs on him, let him run around.
Yeah.
And he'd do it.
Yeah.
Get him like a couple shots of whiskey. Stop him there. Have fun stopping him there. But, where are we in this movie? I don't even think we started talking about it.
This movie really?
No, not really.
Welcome to Podcast of Terror. Let me see. We're over 45 minutes then, I can tell, so I guess it's time to start talking about the movie. Some people are trying to figure out about this witch.
Yeah.
They go to the woods. They run around with cameras. Weird stuff happens.
The movie's very front-heavy as far as the plot goes because it's all exposition of interviews and things. At the beginning of the film, we introduce the characters. Oh, we're going to go do this documentary about the Blair Witch. Then they go and they interview a bunch of townsfolk where the stuff is around where it's supposed to have happened. And a bunch of people give different stories as to what the Blair Witch mythos is. And some of them about a girl who was accused of being a witch in the 1800s. Some about this guy who killed 7 kids in the... I think like the 40s or something. They go through a bunch of different stuff to kind of like say, well, it's about this, or it's about this, or it's about this. Coffin Rock, I think, is the thing where the guy killed the kid. It's the Carnes. And then it just is them fucking, I don't know, hobbiting around the fucking woods for an hour until shit actually starts to happen in the middle of the night. And it's filmed so poorly that you don't really know what the fuck is going on. Like, it was maybe forgivable because of how the screen quality and stuff was in the the late 90s when this came out. And I was watching it on, tube TVs at that point. Watching it on a larger TV now with high definition, this is when I finally realized, oh, that's what everybody kept meaning when they were talking about getting motion sickness from this.
Yeah.
It's like, because now I'm looking at it and it's big and it's taking up the whole fucking view and like, oh God, this is shitty. But also, half the time, they're just like, they're arguing with each other and having stupid conversations, and nothing's actually happening. It's the second Lord of the Rings for the most part. It's just,
I mean, and it's kind of a good point. I don't know. You're not wrong. I'm trying to think of like a intelligent way to put it, but I think they're trying to clearly show tension between the group.
But you have to pay a lot of fucking attention for the payoff at the end to actually be a payoff.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Like, I think they set the table really, really well with the interviews at the beginning with the people, because you get such a variety of people calling back to stories. There's a mixture of things. So it's like, okay, so we know something or a couple of things have happened. And then they have like the one or two mixed people in there. They're like, it's just bullshit. Right. So it makes you feel like, like a news kind of thing, or like they're actually trying to do a documentary. If their goal is to try to make you feel like this whole thing is real, I thought they set the table well. And then all the stuff in between till things start happening, like, yeah, it's boring, but I guess if they were filming, that's what it would have been anyway, right? So
right, and
it's boring, but there's not even like a lot of callback to the conversations that they had earlier to make you feel like, okay, yeah, so this was worth paying attention to. Or if you missed it at the beginning, because the interviews are not really well done, they feel very improv, which is good. It feels authentic, but it doesn't mean that you're getting the information well enough that you can like absorb it in and understand what's happening, so that when you get to the end point and it's like, oh, one of them standing in the corner, I wonder why the fuck that is.
Right.
Oh yeah, on my third rewatch, I realized because this guy put people in the corner when he killed the other one.
Yep.
But there's such a stretch between those things of not that stuff happening, and when we get like the figures that are all like the rocks that are stacked up, when we get and Heather even makes that line where she says, what did that lady say earlier? I totally wasn't paying attention to her. It's like, fucking, that was me, man.
Yeah.
Heather, you were speaking for me. I wasn't paying attention either. If you couldn't give a shit, how the hell am I supposed to give a shit?
Right.
So Beat points out the fact that having watched this on tape, like, kind of added to the whole bootleg quality, because, I found this tape here, watch it. And I don't, and obviously the way that they made this and all the marketing that went into it, they never really thought about the fact that in 22 years later, you could stream it off of the internet, and TVs would be what they are and all this shit. So I guess kind of take it for what it's worth. And I think that's how, for me, and I assume Bender, it's like being able to relate back to when I was 13 years old or whatever, and I watched this for the first time, and I don't remember it scaring the shit out of me, but I also, like, I was putting on cologne and getting prepared to do some of this. So, yeah, there's...
Is that how you masturbate? I don't understand.
Well, there's two guys, and they're standing over me, and I'm trying to get that sweet, sweet milk. It's like a cow udders. Bender, I know you have
They've had 6 Mountain Dews.
Oh, it's gonna just be gelatinous. I know, Bender. I know you took a bunch of notes, so I want to make sure that you can talk about all of those.
No, well, you know what? I didn't even bring my notes with me. I got them all up here, though.
Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure that we can cover everything, because you seemed all about this, and normally I try to set the bar really low when people come on.
Well, so like when you had asked me about coming on, and I had said, I think we should do Blair Witch, only because it might be the best and the worst scary movie ever, right? Like,
right.
Kind of, I mean, you guys were talking about like Paranormal Activity, like it kind of set the bar or set the tone for some successful things to happen with these found footage, or, and you think about it, like I was looking at, the research I did, I was looking at their budget. So the budget for this movie was only $60,000.
Man after my own heart.
It cost them probably like $8 to make the movie.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they spent more on marketing.
Went into the the marketing and stuff. Which, when you think about it, it made however many millions of dollars. That's
248.6.
Yeah.
It did all right.
Yeah. I'd say it did pretty great.
But that's kind of the same with the first Paranormal Activity. The budget was $15,000, and I want to say, as I drag out my words, it made $193 million.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we're at, is that and I hate saying this, some of the horror movies they're very low budget for just a little bit of ambiance and the ability to scare people in the theater to make them feel like they're a good enough movie without having story or anything else. And then they're looked at as being a huge success. So then we get fucking 10 paranormal activities.
Right.
But that's the thing. So Beatmaster says that these numbers are giving Blumhouse an instant erection, which I 100% agree with. But I feel like we've made this point before. So the first Paranormal Activity was like a $15,000 budget. The second one was $3 million. Mm-hmm. So and that's the problem is they made so much money on the first one. They're like, all right, fucking, we'll throw money at it, and then it didn't make as much. Made 177 gross, not net, but. So, and I think as it went on, they probably put more and more money into it and then started getting back less and less money. Funny story about Paranormal Activity 1. My wife and I went and saw it on like a Thursday afternoon. She got carded. We were like 25 at the time. The guy had to put his D&D book down to card my wife. So, Binder, when you finally meet her for real, you can bring that up if you want.
I'll put my D&D book down and card her.
Like this one? I started playing D&D online since I can't do a whole lot. Yesterday I was saying something to her and she's like, well, my pussy just dried up. Fucking cool.
You're fucking playing D&D online without me? Like, I feel like you cheat on me enough by doing another horror podcast. And
blame Erica for that one.
That I kind of came up with the concept for.
That one I totally stole.
Than me on both fronts, and fuck you. Do D&D without me, you shit.
So someone mentioned it to me, and then they're like, we need another person, and my brother's really big into D&D, so I asked him. He's the one that sent me the handbook, because I wasn't going to spend money on it. But we played, and I'm so fucking, like, they're like, you walk up upon a bridge, what do you do? And I'm like, I don't know, walk over it? And they're like, whoa! We gotta roll perception to see if there's something underneath it. And I'm like, I fucking don't know what's happening. I named my guy Dingus Bun Muffins. Like, how serious do you think I'm taking this?
That is the level of D&D that I play, sir.
Okay,
Again,
all right.
Fuck you in the ass.
Nope. So if we start doing another one, I will certainly let you know. It's just over Discord, so there's really no magic involved. I did come up with the Bun Muffins Shuffle, which is just the Bears Super Bowl Shuffle, but in D&D instead. All right. Anyway, so back to
muffin, the refrigerator.
Okay, so I'm Dingus Bun Muffins. I'm a Dragonborn barbarian with a stunt cock background. So this is the level of fantasy, as I cannot go 5 minutes without a dick joke.
Stunt cocking in the rent fairy. That's got to be some really great unwashed cock blisters.
Oh, God. Shit. I don't even know anymore. Okay. Another thing I want to bring up is the fact that Binder didn't know that there was a third Blair Witch movie.
Yeah, I had zero idea that there was.
Yeah, so the third.
Going off of how it did, I feel like that's.
I really like the third one.
No, it's not a bad movie at all.
Right. So the third one is back to they're going into the woods, but it's like they're the younger brother of the girl. I think it is.
With Heather.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I did a bunch of burping from drinking. One of the biggest complaints I have with found footage movies is the fact that the camera is always looking at the action, and there's never an explanation as to why. So in the third Blair Witch, they have these glasses with cameras on them, and I'm like, that's fucking genius, because you've now explained to me why I always see the action. It's because you're always looking at it.
Well, we got to a point where the technology caught up to where it needed to be for the
Yes.
movies to make sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like also the technology got there because of movies like this. Also, like you were saying, 22 years later, they weren't expecting something like this to be on the internet. But something like this is a lot of what the internet is now, because you look at your paranormal investigator shows and things, and the people that are doing that on YouTube and stuff as well.
All I know is that if you turn on Travel Channel, Ghost Hunters is on all the time.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sure.
I like to call it Ghost Bros, but yes, it's on. Fucking touch me, bro. No way, bro. Push me in the chest, bro. And I love that shit. Like, I like ghosts and like ghost hunting and stuff, but goddamn, Zach Bagans, you need to suck a dick, bro. All right, I may have just blacked out. Can't be held accountable for what I just said.
And yet you defend Scott Stapp, who blocked you on Twitter.
He did. Binder doesn't know this story, so now I gotta tell this story again. It was January of 2016, I think. I don't know. Anyways, it was years back. I was down in Kansas. One of my really good friends lives in Kansas. And a friend of mine from here and I went down there for his birthday, which is at the end of January. We were very, very drunk. And we were tweeting at Scott Stapp about how much we hate child support because I believe he was in some child support battles at the time. So we were making Creed references and then saying, I hate child support too at Scott Stapp. Fast forward to last October, like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
We are in Sheboygan for the guy that I went with, my buddy Jake, his wedding. And James and his wife split like a hotel suite with Alyssa and I. And we were up drinking, shocker, eating cheese curds, shocker. And Scott Stapp came up, and it was Jake, his brother Seth, myself, and James. So the Scott Stapp stuff came up, and we all went to his Twitter, and I'm like, weird. I'm like, it says his page is gone. And I'm going to have to send you the pictures of James realizing that he's blocked. But anyway, so Seth is like, well, I'm not blocked. And then it kind of clicked, and I'm like, Seth wasn't with us when we did all this. All three of us are blocked now. It says you've been blocked by Scott Stapp. And
Nice.
Corey, I need you to, this is going to really rough up your game, but I need you to drive the boat for a couple minutes so I can get these. I got to find these pictures so I can send them to him. Okay. You have your phone by you, right?
My phone?
Yeah.
No, Binder. Just
okay.
yeah.
I was going to say, I don't have a phone.
I don't know, do something.
But in line with the time that Scott Stapp was briefly popular, this movie came out. And I kept admiring Heather Donahue's eyebrows, her 90s brows in this, as I was watching it. Is it weird? Is it weird that I'm like nostalgic for 90s eyebrows? Not just 90s fashion itself, which I think was probably a high point for ladies, but 90s brows. I kept staring at them. I'm like, wow, yeah.
I'm going to need more time.
Yeah. So a lot of this film is, like we said, they get together. She knows Mike. Is Mike her friend at the beginning? And then Josh is the one they meet up with, the new guy. No, Mike is the new guy because Mike's the asshole. They get together. They're going to do this documentary. They hire Mike. They all go out, interview people, and then they go to the fucking woods. And they plan to be there for a couple of days, but Mike has to be at work like 2 days later and doesn't plan ahead at all.
Yeah.
And most of it is them wandering around, and Heather, they keep saying, oh, you got us lost again. And she's like, we're not lost. I know exactly where we fucking are. I've got the map. I'm following the map. And they're like, yeah, you keep saying that, but then you keep getting us lost. But we don't see them get lost. So it's just these references come back like, hey, you fucked up again, but we never see the fucked up. We just see the recovery of them going, oh, well, you dumb bitch. And it's like, I'm not a dumb bitch. You're a dumb bitch. And so on and so forth. Like Matt was saying, so much of the stuff seems to happen without the filming actually catching it. So there's a point where they're running in the middle of the night and they're being chased by somebody who is supposed to be the Blair Witch running after them, all dressed up in white. It's one of the directors, like, got dressed up in all white gauze and shit and is chasing after them. But the people who were doing this didn't turn the camera to catch him on film. So you just see them reacting. This footage they were actually planning on using never manifested, so that doesn't happen. So one of the added things that could have made this actually somewhat scary in the middle is just them running screaming in the night.
Yeah. That's when the tent shakes, right? And then they take off running?
Yeah. And when I think that's when they lose Josh. Because that's what you do. Sometimes you go to the woods, you lose a Josh.
Yeah.
Always keep a couple extra Joshes on hand.
I was just going to say Joshes are expendable, and then I realized that Bender's real name is Josh. Yeah. All right, so I have sent you all the pictures in chronological order. So the first one is the point at which we kind of were like, well, this is fucking weird. None of us can see Scott Stapp's tweets. He says he's gone. The second one is Seth explaining to James that he wasn't there the night. The next one is him going back and be like, huh. Yeah, that's weird. The next one is him being like, holy shit, we got blocked because of what we did. And then the last one is just full-blown realization that we have been blocked by Scott Stapp on Twitter.
He looks so upset.
I know. It still comes up a lot.
But like for 3 years, you were blocked probably and didn't have a clue.
Yep, I
so
guarantee you.
Scott Stapp in your life was all in your imagination.
This
Like, it's not like there was one set of footprints in the sand and it was you and Scott Stapp.
Jesus Christ.
It was you. It was just you.
The love of Scott Stapp is only really rekindled when I'm with those guys.
Yeah.
But it has now just become such like a joke in our friendship, like enough that I bought Human Clay on vinyl. But to your point of hating to flip vinyl, there's only one good side of 4 sides, and it has With Arms Wide Open, Higher, and then something else. And I only know that it's because of something else is in the middle of those 3 or those 2. We can listen to that too when we hang out. It's cool.
Seriously, get a fucking restraining order now.
I'm in his house already. I actually don't even know where he lives. Prank, I do. I'm in the bushes.
What's that?
I was just saying I'm in your bushes right now.
Oh, okay.
No, you're far away. I'm not going down there.
So Matt particularly used to do a show called Weird World Weekly. On
I didn't drink so much on that one because I was required to think.
Yeah, I know. But I was just going to say, Weird World Weekly seems like it goes hand in hand with what the Blair Witch is. Or is supposed to be representing, which is the paranormal activity stuff, the bigger than life outside of the norm kind of things. It was a lot of alien stuff too, but I remember on the episodes that I was guesting on with you, we were going more for the paranormal.
And that's like, honestly, that is where my love of horror stems from, is my interest in like actual weird shit.
Yeah.
Like Alyssa and I have done ghost tours and like hunting or ghost hunting shit. I love haunted houses because I like to be scared because it's the only way I can feel feelings at this point in my life.
It's true. You made it through all of the different porn sites, and now this is all you've got.
Bender, if you find it,
stabbing me with a razor dick.
If you want to
feel anything,
if you want to really lose some time, there's one episode, I don't know which one it is, but I read off every Pornhub category there is in like 2 breaths.
Well, there was then.
Yeah. I think I was really drunk
because he was being actively choked at the time.
Yes. Yes, I got to the chokes category. I don't even know anymore.
There's not a lot that can be said about this movie. It's more of the impact that it had, and the fact that it was a product of its time that worked. It's like the Daffy Duck thing. It works once.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I love this trick. They want more, and it's like I can only do it once. And the Blair Witch was the once, at least in our generation. My generation is a generation ahead of yours, but fuck you.
But it only worked once, yet they tried to do it 40 times.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, is that the Blair Witch people, whoever owned the property after that, knew they couldn't do that again. Paranormal Activity did it in a house, so that's what you need. Is the Blair Witch was missing was more suburbs, but hey, honey, we got a ghost. Well, first we got to go do a Starbucks run, right? Because like I need to go there, stop by Whole Foods, maybe play a game of squash, and then we'll come back and we'll deal with the ghost. Okay?
Can we do blue collar paranormal activity? Yeah. Where the mom is like, honey, we got a ghost, and he'd be like, better get a job, rent day free.
Fucking run the still.
The registered trademark podcast is here, April 28th, 2020, 8:08 p.m. I don't want anyone fucking stealing that.
No, that's too good. No one listens to this.
There's at least 3 people. I'm gonna text Jack real quick, see if he's interested.
We already know that Eric is drunk, so
yeah.
Let's see if Jack has the time to write the script with us for that.
Blue collar. We're still waiting on Gremlins 3, Gremlins in Nazi Germany in outer space.
Yeah. God damn it. I love you, Jack. So,
me too.
But the concept of the Blair Witch is interesting. The things that they introduce, like the whole the name of the different people, like the witch's name is an anagram for some mystic that existed. The killer's name, the guy who killed the 7 kids, his name is an anagram of Rasputin. They really thought through what their mythology was, which is why I think the sequels work, why the games work, why all the extra stuff, the comic books and things that they do on the side all work. The movie is something to whet the appetite for the Blair Witch as a concept, and it did it in a way that was, fucking affordable. That's what they did. Is they we got this much money, so let's make the film this way and see what we can do. And again, because nobody else had really done it that way before, they didn't expect it to blow up like it did. They just thought maybe it would be played on late night cable or something, and people might buy the VHS copies of it at some point. But it was fucking gigantic. It was a Sundance winner. It was all these extra things. So yeah, great. They all get to cash out. But for the most part, it's like the first Matrix. I told you that story so I can tell you these other stories. Except in the case of the Matrix, they got really, really bad as they went along. And the first one was the only good one. This one, I don't know that this one is the good one. But it is good that it gave us, if you're interested in the Blair Witch and the story that they're telling, it gave us the option of finding out about this stuff. I just think that it's a bad example of a film if you're looking at it just as that. But as a phenomenon, it's amazing.
Yeah, I thought that they did even the bad camera work, obviously when you watch anything now, we are so blessed to have high quality in CGI and all those things.
But this was
Lady Gaga video is filmed on an iPhone.
That's true.
It wasn't even a concept then.
This was fucking top notch though back in the day. Even though it was shaky and shitty looking, it was still top notch.
Yeah, but I think that's what keeps it. I think that's what keeps the charm of it.
Right.
Again, the whole idea. If you're gonna buy into it being real, for me, the storytelling, all the in between stuff, really set the table for the very end. Because the end, 22 years later, still got me. Yep. The minute they go to the house, I'm like, yeah, I'm a little creeped out, and I know what happened.
Dude, you have to watch the newest one.
I will.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because it goes back to the house.
Maybe have seen it and just forgot that it existed.
That's possible. I remember
because when
it came out right around my birthday in 2016, so I was like, "We're fucking going!" And then knowing me, I went a week late.
Yeah, well, when you guys mentioned the glasses, the camera glasses, for some reason that I don't know.
I think Google Glass had just kind of gotten maybe even popularized and then put away because Google will just abandon shit all the time. But I think that was the idea that they were going with.
Google Fiber.
We can record this. No, Google Glass.
I know. But you're talking about Google's ability to abandon stuff, and I said Google Fiber.
Yeah. Fucking Buzz and
Dick Mouse
Plus and everything else.
Gay porn.
Right. And we're broadcasting this on YouTube. Thanks, Google. But it was, again, we're getting to a point where this stuff just gets... But it's also the same thing that can wreck something, because for a generation who's watching the Scream for the first time, they're like, what is with all the fucking flip phones that they're opening up and they're talking to each other, but then they don't do anything, they don't call the police, they don't understand. It's the technology changes and it makes it harder to buy into some of the movies.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's like the movies wouldn't exist without this tech. And it's crazy to think of what they would do now with the technology.
Well, so... Go ahead, Bender. No, go ahead.
It's funny that you said that, because I just went back and started rewatching all the Sopranos. And the minute I seen the Tony's Suburban, I was like, oh man, this is really old. This is, and for some reason, it all the stories there, the character building, all still an amazing show. But the fact that you see these vehicles you want it to be in this because it's not a time period piece, right? So you want to feel like it happened now, and then you see this vehicle that's 20 years old, and you're like, oh no, now I
Yeah.
feel old.
Yeah.
Well, The Sopranos is recent enough that it feels like, oh, well, that just fucking happened. But then obviously it did not just fucking happen.
Right.
But at the same time, you go and you watch Goodfellas, and Goodfellas feels incredibly 80s, which is what it's supposed to. And 70s up to the 80s because it's over a period of time. But at that whole point where he's just doing coke all over the fucking place, it feels like, yeah, that's a period piece in its own way, even though it was a period piece that was modern when it was happening. This feels like it could have just happened because 20 years ago to people our age doesn't feel that fucking long ago. When you say it out loud, it is, but most of us are still thinking that the 90s were 10 years ago.
I wish they were still 10 years ago.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. So Beatmaster, and he had a bunch of shit that he had typed out about the second movie, since I kind of shit on the second one about how it was, but I guess it sounds like the studio was not the one that decided to break from the first. It was the director. So they wanted to go to more of a psychological unraveling about their night at Black Hills, instead of like the found footage. So and I hate to keep bouncing to like 2 and stuff because we're supposed to talk about what no one fucking cares. We do whatever we want, but it keeps bouncing from like staged shots to found footage, and that was kind of what annoyed the shit out of me. And I kind of liked the fact that it existed in this universe where the Blair Witch was a movie yet still real, because it probably helped bring people to the area, which is ultimately probably what they want to do if you want to turn it into some sort of tourist footage.
People kept going to the area and they were tearing off pieces of the house, so the town had the house condemned and dismantled.
Well, that sounds about right.
Keep people from doing that.
I grew up just not far from Making a Murderer, and they had to take down the Avery Auto sign because people kept stopping on the highway to take a picture of it.
But that's again why the second movie is good, because it plays off of that as well. It's like, oh yeah, that Blair Witch movie came out, that footage came out, and all these fucking asshole kids showed up and decided they wanted to be the next people to go find the Blair Witch. And so it was such a great statement about what the first film had done, because that was the truth. People were just like, well, we're going to go check this out now. And it's like, you motherfuckers, just get the fuck out of here. This is our home. Leave our homes alone. We don't like you. We don't want you around here.
And that's kind of like a fucked up accidental repercussion to doing something like this. It's like they wanted to make a movie about an area, and they used the house in the area that actually exists, and as a result, people can't respect something.
Yeah.
And then they find a need to be like, well, I saw this on a movie. I should be able to take it.
Yeah, and it's a different thing when it's something like the house that The Exorcist was in, or the Amityville, or the hotel for The Shining, that kind of stuff where it's like, oh yeah, those are single places. You can have somebody who owns that and turns it into some sort of like horror museum or a tourist trap, and that's okay. But when it's a whole fucking town or the whole area of woods in your city, that is something else, because nobody can really control what's going on, and people just come and fuck with it.
Yeah.
And while there may be a couple of people who get the souvenirs and stuff shops out and benefit from it, for most of the people there, it's like, no, this just annoys us. This is, you come here and you screw around and you're assholes, and I gotta explain to my kids, like, these dumb shits just come to town every once in a while because they saw some asinine movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hard part, is that, but I don't blame the filmmakers for that, because they didn't know that they were creating this kind of phenomenon.
There's two very different schools of thought. There's the fact that like the house from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is now a tourist attraction in, I don't know the name of the town, but it's just outside of Austin, where you can go and eat breakfast, and it's very much encouraged to go and visit. And then we used this house in rural Massachusetts. That's fucking it. Like, I, as a human being, will go to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. I went to the gas station and visited that. I will not go to Massachusetts to a house in a field, and then not only if I did that, be like, I feel like I can take a part of this. That's okay.
But last year we had people trying to Naruto run to a fucking military base. Like, people are not smart.
No.
Let's just fucking get over it. People will love the excuse to be stupid.
An idiot. And oh, goddamn, that's a problem in and of itself. But
And as a person who's been that stupid teenager before,
I feel like
I cop to it.
and Binder, I'm sure you did dumb shit when you were a teenager.
Yeah, of course.
But I still feel like the dumb shit that we did as teens was nowhere near as dumb as let's Naruto run into Area 51 because we can.
I don't think I would ever, I mean, no.
I think the dumbest thing I did was shit in a bag and start it on fire.
The raw sewage story from the beginning of the show, low on the fucking totem pole of dumb shit that I did as a teenager.
But did you do something dumb that was detrimental to your or someone else's health? I feel like the answer is going to be
Fucking all
yes.
the time.
Yeah, we used to run out in the street while cars were coming to fuck with people. Yeah, we got chased by the cops a couple times. Everything's starting to come back bit by bit, so I should have stopped talking.
Yeah.
I'm like starting to just vaguely remember the things I did.
And trying to get into that place and getting shot at with rock salt in the middle of the night. Going over the outside rim, the ledge on the overpass above the freeway at 3 o'clock in the morning. Sleeping underneath the overpass a lot of nights. Yeah,
You sounded homeless.
I kind of felt like I wanted to be.
A vagrant? Yeah.
Just stupid teenage shit. Stupid teenage shit.
But
Stupid teenage shit that we got away with because it was the 70s and 80s and 90s. Now, not so much. Like the helicopter parenting thing, none of that stuff would fly.
Dude, I have a coworker whose daughter started driving, and he had a unit installed in her car so he could see when she would drive. It would notify him if she drove too fast, broke too hard, or was in an accident, or anything. And
people are volunteering to do that for themselves to get a fucking $40 discount a year on their
so
auto insurance.
I have, it's called an automatic. It's in Alyssa's car because at the time we were having a bunch of problems where the check engine light would come on, and I'm like, I'm sick of getting the ODB connector to read the code, and this thing would just text it to me. But I literally only use it for that and to make sure she doesn't spend too much time at her boyfriend's house. So it's a much different outcome, but like I don't know, it's fucking weird. If my parents, man, I used to lie about where I was staying to sleep at my girlfriend's house.
She doesn't spend a lot of time here. I do the Uber banging slang that we talked about.
Is that what she does? She's like, I just got to run this rabbit to town, and then it's like fucking 3 days later she comes home. Like, what the fuck? What did that rabbit
And the
need?
rabbit died.
And then she comes home and she's like, it took longer. I swear to God, if this is the one episode she watches, I'm going to die.
That would also mean this is her introduction to me. Yeah, Corey shits himself, and then he talks crap about me.
No, she's told she'll listen to episodes where she's seen the movie.
That's too bad.
I'm not going to stop her, but
No, I'm not going to stop her either.
I've
been trying to get Erin. Erin was asking about she wants to find something that will give her the effects of doing weed without actually doing weed. And I'm like, I've been telling you that last episode we did the podcast of Tara with Matt was a lot of that stuff is talked about on there.
Yeah,
Listen to that episode. She's not gonna listen.
he's a proponent. He's a proponent of those things.
Yeah, it's a good episode. A lot of good conversation.
Yeah,
Not that there's not on this one, of course, but
no. It's just that dude's on a different level sometimes.
well, yeah.
When I talk
But
to
I
him,
just
just
mean
like
in general, it's like, hey, honey, here's the thing that I do. I look at all your dick pics. What a weird thing to say about my wife.
Okay, so funny story about dick pics and wives. I used to work. This is not my wife. I want to say that right now. This is not my wife. This is not me.
I used to send other people's wives' dick pics.
So this guy I used to work with, he's since left to go somewhere else, had a wife who they had a coffee table book full of dicks. So what she would do is she would go on like chatting websites and talk guys into sending her dick pics, and then she would put them in the dick book. Yeah, this was like I still have the same boss as one I did then, but apparently they asked my boss to be in the dick book because he's known for having he's well endowed.
But doesn't it seem like everybody's going to try to send you the well-endowed dick pics and what you?
Oh no, I used to go to the Y with this guy.
The strange.
No, I've
sippy straws.
I've been in a locker shower with the guy. I know what he's swinging.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But I'm just saying,
It's
want a variety. You don't want beautiful dicks the whole way through.
No, and I never saw the dick book. I was in their house once. I never really cared for either of them.
Now, I remember an art book where somebody had inserted their penis into somebody's pee hole, not their penis, their pinky finger into somebody's pee hole.
Oh.
And other stuff like that was before I think the term docking had even entered the lexicon. But I was very aware of it when that term came out. I'm like, oh, I get that. I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It didn't look fun.
Wow.
I mean, that's a loss of a press-on nail you're never going to get back unless it makes its way all the way through the urethra. You okay? You gonna be okay, Matt? You need that other half of the beer?
Yep, he's got it.
I didn't blend for a gulp. I got
a question.
okay. It's eight inches. What? Oh no, never mind. It sounds like you have a different question though, and I was prepared to. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
So if you lived in the town where they filmed this, and all of a sudden see this spike in tourism, and let's just put it in the time period that it all comes out, right? You're a teenager. I think I would probably go to the woods with my friends every night just to fuck with people.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, for fucking sure.
I mean, it's kind of a fun side effect when you think about it.
Also, what a glorious place to be a murderer.
Yeah.
Because then you just have fucking vagrant teens who show up that don't have anybody who really knows their whereabouts or gives a shit, and a town that doesn't want to look for them. So, fucking kids show up here and die all the time. Mm-hmm. We don't find them. We don't care. We don't look. Screw those people.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we tow their cars away and put that into the system, so eventually they get auctioned off. But otherwise, no, fuck them. That's where I got my first Betamax camcorder. Just right from that.
Jesus Christ. You and your fucking Betamax, dude.
Sorry. I don't know why, but you said that it made me think of so in town here over the weekend, somebody decided to rob a gas station.
Oh, I think I saw that. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So this is like the only period of time, except for maybe the Wild West, where it's acceptable to wear a face mask.
Yep.
They did not. So they robbed the gas station completely
with no mask
and then rode away on their bicycle. Like, gotta love it.
Did they get picked up?
Here in town today, actually, I was still listening to the updates of it before I came upstairs to do the show.
I feel like you need to maybe say a little more than just the fact that there was a SWAT standoff.
Yeah, Aaron had heard a bunch of sirens of cops flying by the house, and then people started posting on the community website or Facebook page or whatever for our town what was going on. And some guy who's holed up in his house, and apparently he's got a bunch of weapons. They had his daughter trying to talk him down with the cops, and then all of a sudden SWAT showed up, and it sounds like it may be some sort of actual standoff.
Huh. Someone just needs to play some Creed. That'll calm that guy down.
Yeah, that fucking might be Scott Stapp.
Scott, say it ain't so, bud. You're doing
he's
so
just
well.
Like, fucking child support. And everyone attacks me on Twitter. I hold a grudge.
4 years ago, someone was really mean to me on Twitter. No, I'm going to lock my family in with this gun.
Matt, you can't really toss that grenade because that's going to blow up in your fucking face.
Which one?
Because if I mentioned the one time that someone was mad at us on Twitter.
Man, that fucking lady called us fat hipsters. So, Bender, we did Strangeland, the Dee Snider movie, which is near and dear to my heart. It's the greatest. The soundtrack is amazing. It is like the soundtrack of my senior year of high school. Soulfly, Sepultura, Seven Dust, like fucking back. Watch out,
Cassidy.
Yeah, David Cassidy is not on there. Corey, calm down. And so I don't remember. I don't think I defended the movie. Corey did not care for it, but this is also he didn't have the same connection to it. I remember tweeting at Dee Snider that we had done this, and in comes a trash human who called us fat hipsters in our bedrooms, and if we had half the talent that that D. Snyder had, we would fucking something. I was
None
like,
of which is false.
no, I'm not a talented vocalist. I was not in Twisted Sister. Shocker, I know. But I remember it was right before I went to the Arnold because my buddy Jake like found half naked pictures of this girl on the internet. Like within 10 minutes of me telling the story, like this girl lived life like a dumpster fire, and she really came at us hard. And I was like, "Fuck this chick! Just block her." All of a sudden, Corey's like, "No, let me just talk to her." So Corey like got her to agree to come on the show. And then, like, when it came to put rubber to cement, she just ghosted us and never showed up. But I was all like, fuck this chick. Like, if you're going to shit talk me, like, fucking kill yourself. And Corey was like, wait a minute.
Subscribe to her OnlyFans.
I don't even remember her name, but if I had one, I would probably. I'd spend like $4.99 to see some areola.
Seems a little pricey.
Is there a decimal point somewhere in that?
No, well, $4.99.
Okay,
That's even pushing it.
but monthly?
Well, it's monthly, but I guess you get tokens, and you can. I don't know the inner workings of an OnlyFans. I haven't quite bit that bullet.
$3 more than that, I get Disney Plus.
I bet Bender's got Disney Plus, don't you?
You're
Yeah,
damn right I
figured.
do.
Someone texted me the other day, like, we got Disney Plus. I can watch the first or all the Simpsons, and I'm like, stop after season 11.
Yeah.
Just don't even bother.
I might have made a mistake because over the weekend we were a little bored. My wife works overnights at a rehab facility, and so we all have to kind of quiet down, and I got to get my two kids to chill out or whatever. So we put on movies or whatever. So we're playing Legos, and I decided, you know what? I haven't watched King of the Hill in forever,
Man,
so I'm just gonna start over. And now my 3-year-old and my 12-year-old are hooked.
That's actually. Is that on Disney Plus?
No.
Oh, okay. I was
Hulu?
like, oh, okay. I'm going to.
The bastard child of Disney Plus, even though it came out first.
Yeah.
We had Hulu for live TV for a while. Just got expensive.
Yeah, that's the only reason I have it, to watch hockey, but I can't do that now either.
So you were using Hulu for live TV, right?
Yeah.
But do you actually watch shit off of Hulu, correct?
Yeah.
So not okay, because that's the one thing. It's like we went back to Sling, but we also never used Hulu.
Oh yeah, I use it for. I don't know. I have Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu, and I use Hulu way more.
Yeah, we have Netflix. Someone gave me Disney Plus, and I went in. I went in once.
So I've got, aside from being a Comcast subscriber who gets fucking every channel.
I thought you were going to say raped, like because you get that too.
I've got Netflix. I've got Hulu. I've got Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Shudder. We are on the 90-day trial that Roku gave for Screambox right now.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the trial of Quibi.
Ooh, I got that too. Have you watched Flipped?
No, I watched the Murder House flip.
I saw that. I was trying to talk Alyssa into watching it, and I'm like, now they're just really shooting in the dark. Like, so Bender, it's they flip houses where someone was murdered in it. Yeah, fucking yeah. Like, how do we take a house flipping and murder shows and put them together?
And it's not good.
Oh, damn it! I tried watching Punk'd with Chance the Rapper, and I got 2 episodes in, and I'm like, it's not the same.
I like Chance the Rapper. I'm not interested in Punk.
Yeah.
Erin mentioned the other day she wants to watch the one with Anna Kendrick that's by Dan Harmon's girlfriend that is basically about them when they first started dating, his relationship with a sex doll. So it's dating Donald Logue, going across the country, and she's traveling with the sex doll, and like I'm not sure what else is in it, but it sounds fantastic. But the thing with Quibi is that it's made to watch on cell phones. So I sat and we watched that Murder House flip on my iPad, and you have to blow it up to get it to actually fill the screen. I'm like, this is not going to work for me. Like, this is not how I watch content.
dummy.
get what they're trying to do, but they were taking the Murder House Flip show was 3 10-minute episodes or whatever to get one episode of the show.
Yeah, Dummy is the show you're talking about, the Anna
Yes.
Kendrick. So Flipped is fine. They basically, every time there would be a commercial break is the end of an episode. So like 11 episodes gets you. But the thing is like if you hold your phone upright, it like weirdly wiggles between people. So you have to hold it sideways and then to get like the actual full effect. And even a 7-minute episode, like I'm sick of fucking holding my phone. But then again, I'm not used to... Like, I want to watch it on a goddamn TV.
See, I remember when movies were going through the hard thing of like making what was letterbox films fit onto square TVs.
Yep.
And I remember distinctly the Julie Andrews movie Victor Victoria, where they would do this weird pan to show other characters in like this big restaurant scene because it all filmed very wide, and they were using that space up on the screen. But when they put it on the television, they had to like somehow make it work towards that format. And now everything's kind of reversed and gone back to. I was watching episodes of Monk today, and then all of a sudden they switched over to Diagnosis Murder, and the only reason that I realized things had changed was because Diagnosis Murder had the bars on the side, because Monk was filled in a widescreen format.
This Week in Old Men Complaints?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I realized at one point Bender is just starting to check out, and
No, I'm trying to picture Diagnosis Murder. I feel like I know Monk.
Yeah,
It's got the
nothing.
one goofy guy.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yep.
Which I saw some meme where it was like, hey, Tony Shalhoub may have been onto something. Because he was OCD and would like wash everything.
Really?
And now everyone is Monk.
Everything.
Yep. I think it's it, and then like I don't give a shit about much, and I am getting in like I get in my car from going somewhere, and I sanitizing wipes and wipe my car key, my steering wheel, and you go to work every day, Bender.
Yeah.
And so you said you're basically dressed up like a Ghostbuster with a hood.
Yeah.
So-
So I do specialty coatings for military, right? So
He makes rocket launchers.
I don't make them, but I do stuff to them, right?
In my mind,
So,
you do.
Matt also does stuff to things that he coats.
Yeah.
I call that my cum wall.
But actually, we're having problems at work right now getting gloves and like the suits that I wear, Tyvek suits. And
Yeah.
so they're outsourcing those to nursing, hospitals, nursing homes, stuff like that. So now they're giving me not good stuff, and I'm spraying chemical all day. So it's kind of like, hey guys, I have to be safe too, or we can't produce.
Yeah, it's weird. So a friend of mine works at a distillery for Three Floyds. You familiar with Three Floyds, Bender?
No, but
Three Floyds is a brewery, so they also started a distillery down in Indiana. So the distillery is now making hand sanitizer in addition to booze,
Right.
which it sounds like a lot of places are. So it's kind of interesting to see how like people have kind of pivoted to make what they can to help everyone else. So
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but someone stopped production. Not on it. Rogue Fitness.
Yep.
Like stopped production on a lot of their fitness equipment to make like face shields and shit too. So they kind of stopped for like a couple weeks and made all these they made face shields, and then kind of went back to making fitness equipment for a bit, and then going back and forth. So it's kind of cool to see people doing stuff like that now.
yeah, I think that's kind of the, I don't know, it's a little cliche, but that's kind of the American spirit a little bit,
It is, and then we still have people who are like, "I'm fucking American. You can't tell me to stay home."
Yeah.
And those people, when they talk, I picture the SpongeBob meme where he's like all blown up, and it's just capital small, capital small.
Yeah.
Like, God damn, you're so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the frustration for some people, but like so I was telling my wife this an hour or two ago. So there's a lady in town that had been warned. She's a dog groomer, and her business is like,
I know exactly what you're telling me.
I'm sure you probably saw this, right?
Yep.
So they warned her several times, hey, you got to shut down.
Yeah.
She decided not to, and they arrested her yesterday. It's like, all right, you were warned. I mean, I can understand it, but at the same time,
I would also like to point out that they're opening groomers tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So for some places, right? But,
Yeah.
you know, the place isn't very big. How many clients does she have on a daily basis? How much contact? There's all these things that I think nobody's talking about. So it's kind of hard to say, nah, that's, you put your life savings into that. You should not do it, especially if you're already taking protocols. But at the same time, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of on both sides of the aisle.
I completely agree, and I understand where you're coming from, and it's like my dad started his own business, and that is that's how he found his success. Now, granted, he's retired at this point, so this is not affecting him, but
Right.
I could see how in 1985 when he started his business, if this were to happen, like how that would have basically shut him down and changed the entire course of my life.
Right.
So I get it, but I also feel like there's so much more to this. Now, I've had a number of conversations with my mom who's like, well, we'll just come over. It's not a big deal. We're fine. You're fine. It's not a big deal. And I said, that's not the point. I said, you're taking a 90 to 120 day period of your life, which is minuscule, and just saying, you know what, this doesn't matter. Fuck it. Like, fuck everyone involved. And this is just, I just want to make myself happy, so I'm going to break these rules. And it's like we've missed, we'll miss Mother's Day, Easter, and her birthday. And she's super butthurt about it. And I said, we will make all of that up when this is over.
Yeah.
I said, when this is done, we will have one party to make up everything. I said, but I just need you to just hang tight. And it's like, I don't care if I get sick or if my wife gets sick, but my parents are 70 and 68. If something happens to you, I said, I will never forgive myself. I said, just fucking wait.
My cousin is getting married in like June or July or something like that. We got the invitation today. And in the invitation is the thing of like, right now we don't have a plan to
reopen
cancel or postpone this.
Oh.
But if things change, then we're looking at January of next year. And this is like, it's not like our wedding, which was maybe 20 people intimate at a friend's farm or anything. This is like a giant ass wedding in Texas that my parents and I were going to fly down for. And so I've been holding back on using vacation time or anything else like that to save it for when I was going to go to this thing with my parents. And I just keep like checking back. Are we doing this? Is this happening? Do we think what is the feeling right now from Holly and John and the kids? And this was a very, I'm sure, a hard decision to say, like, right now plan for it, but we may move it back 6 months or whatever. But it's also, that's the only thing you can do. It's like,
so
for people who are going to travel to it, are we going to be flying at that point?
Right. So this whole shutdown, for me personally, we have rescheduled recording once, which will happen again because it's the end of May, and I can't imagine that's going to happen. And Nick Colucci needs new walkout music. We're supposed to be. I was supposed to be in Chicago Sunday yesterday and coming home today. That I canceled. I was going to go drinking for March Madness. That got canceled. We're supposed to be in Denver in 2 weeks. That's canceled. It's like I got back like a week and a half of vacation as a result of this. And I'm not exactly happy about it, but I'm also not upset. Because when this is over, I'm just going to fucking take a week off and just sit on my couch without pants on. But
Which is kind of what you're doing when you work now.
Well, it's been kind of cold, so I'm wearing pants. It's just, it fucking sucks. And I think Bender's, fucking, I don't even know what to call you anymore. Bender's probably in the same boat I am. I understand the reason for this, but still for my personal sanity, like I miss my hobby that puts me out in front of people and it gives me something to kind of do. And granted, like we still had to write some music, so I'm still playing music and being creative from that standpoint during this time, but it's not the same. And it's like I don't get to see my three best friends, and I don't get to see people, and I don't get to do my craft in front of people. That fucking sucks, and it's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is, I guess. I don't know. Like, when this is all said and done, it's probably gonna be like maybe 6 months,
right?
But it's gonna feel like a goddamn eternity. Like I've been working from home for 6 weeks at this point. I think it's Tuesday.
Yeah,
that's the point. I don't even know what date it is anymore. You still at least go to a place 5 days a week. Today I had to remind myself it was even a Tuesday.
Yeah, And I wish the craziest thing to me is the attitude where I work. Almost so the owner did something cool. He's for the next 4 paychecks for the next 8 weeks, he's giving everybody a 10% bump in pay
That's fucking cool.
on attendance, right? Which is pretty awesome because a lot of what he saw, most guys coming in, was like they had vacation and you took it away from them because they're seeing their friends not have to go to work. Like, guys, you should be blessed that we can still go and make a living.
Yep. And
right. I know lots of guys that can't right now. You
yep.
know what I mean?
And this is back to my buddy James that I sent you all the pictures of. He's a bartender in Kansas City. Makes all of his money over March Madness. That was taken away. His wife had a baby 2 weeks ago. And he goes, that's $6,000-$7,000 that he's now out of because he missed those days. And it's like, I'm so fortunate that Alyssa and I work for companies that are literally the definition of essential. She makes toilet paper. I get you prescriptions. So it's like, this is only like, and we could both work from home as is. So it's like, I don't fully understand what this is like outside of our box. And I will be the first to admit it.
Yeah.
But I still feel for every one of my friends. And it's like, I wish I could fucking do everything in my power to but I'm like, I can't give you money on top of paying my own bills. Right. It's just, it's a matter of perception. And then like, I don't know, man. I was talking to our friend Kevin, a previous guest who works for AMC, and he was saying like their editors have a hard time because they can't edit outside of the office. HBO doesn't let you take a TV show home to edit it. You have to edit it in the office. So yeah, so he's like, you have to check out time to be in the office when there's no one else there to edit your TV shows and do it in like a condensed time because you can't have more than 4 or 5 people there at a time. And I'm like, man, it's crazy.
And also the equipment has to be cleaned.
Yes.
If you're literally trying to make sure that people are safe. And the problem is that we're seeing a lot of work conditions where, we're an essential thing, so we're going to stay open. Or we say we're an essential thing, so we're going to stay open. And then it turns out the conditions aren't safe and people are getting infected.
Yep.
And then the business has to close anyways.
Yep. My buddy Jake works for the post office down in Sheboygan. And we've had conversations where he's like, And they're just like, you're fine here. Not a big deal. And who's to say that? You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking crazy. And
doesn't this whole thing make you kind of question, though? Like, so I get the hypervigilance of cleaning stuff now, right? Because something's going on, but like,
why didn't we do this before?
Right?
Yep.
Because herd immunity worked before.
Yeah.
What we're dealing with right now is outside the boundaries of what we're used to. The 5-second rule was feasible. It wasn't good. It wasn't good etiquette, but it was something that we all just kind of like, fucking God made dirt, so it don't hurt.
Right.
But now this is fucking new.
Yeah.
For the major part of the world. Other parts of the world, it's not that new. But for us, it's really like it's rocked our foundations of how we understand things and how we deal with things.
So probably my favorite meme to come out of this whole thing is it was like an eagle with the Twin Tower, and it said, "This is Trump's 9/11. If you knew 4 months in advance it was coming." It's like we knew in fucking December this thing was in existence, and we didn't do anything until March. I'm like, eh.
Remember, there were warnings about 9/11 too.
Oh, and that's like, I'm not saying there weren't. It's just there's this. It's whole like we didn't, and I'm guilty of this. I've told Alyssa on a few occasions. I said it's not a problem until it's a problem.
Right.
And we totally, as a country, did the exact same thing. This has now turned into podcast of politics. But we did the same thing, and it's like it wasn't a problem until it was here, and then it wasn't a problem until it was a problem.
Look how many smart people, or who we've been told are smart people, told us it's going to be okay. Look how many people that we trust told us it's going to be fine, it's just a flu, it's just this, because we didn't have an understanding of it. And because, again, sometimes people just say stuff to keep the panic from happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes we have to allow the panic. And it's that fine line of like, but how far do we go in the other direction? How far do we say, hey, fucking give up everything. Give up all concept of going outside. Give up all concept of like just existing like that. It's hard to push into that other direction and then know also you're probably going to have to pull back at some point and say, okay, maybe that was a little much.
Mm.
And every time that something changes, because the conditions are slowly improving in some areas, people go, oh, well, it's not as bad as you said it was going to be. Yeah, but that's because we didn't let it get to that point.
Right.
But it's hard to quantify this until we're out of it. While we're in it, we don't understand it yet.
And that's the thing. Like, even I tend to kind of, and I don't want to say forget, but I'm able to compartmentalize and kind of set it aside, because when I go out, like, it doesn't really seem that much different. Like, I don't see less traffic. When I go to my office, there's obviously like 2 cars instead of 80, shit like that. But I have now taken to working out in my driveway, naked, as Bender believes, and I live on a county highway, and it's very difficult because I work out in my driveway because it's cement, and I don't want to stand in chicken poop in my backyard. But I've made a joke about people who just, like, as they're driving, like, fucking stare at me, and I'm like, well, what do you fucking want me to do? Point of this statement is that I have not seen, like, a lessening in the amount of people that drive past my house. Like, it still is pretty much as many as I would normally see on any other day, which is odd. Like Jack, our friend Jack, who lives out in Brooklyn, he's posted pictures of, like, just dead. There's, like, not a lot happening. Empty streets. Same thing with some of our friends out in L.A. Beatmaster says, people saying Y2K was a hoax, nothing happened, and forgot that it was only because many people worked their asses off to fix it. Which is a really good point. Had we seen this coming and had the ability to fix this, we may not be in this position, but you can't really do it with a virus as compared to a computer program that wasn't made to roll over to 2000 instead of 19s. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And a buddy of mine drove down to St. Louis and back, which is like 7 hours from here, to pick up beer. Granted, it was some silly fucking beers, and it was like $1,000 worth. But anyways, it just seemed like a wasted trip. Like, I didn't want to go to Sheboygan to pick up the beer I had there because I could just ask my mom politely to go pick it up for me because they live 5 minutes from the brewery instead of me driving 90. It's not going to go anywhere.
She won't come see you, though.
Yeah.
She drove 5 minutes instead of me going 90, and I'm not telling her to bring it to me.
Right.
I'm waiting.
No. But you're letting her go out, and she already doesn't take the thing seriously.
It's
because she wants to come see you. She
it's
takes
not,
it seriously, but
yeah.
not as seriously as you would like her to.
I think I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that she doesn't take it seriously. I just think she was very much of the, if I was like, yeah, it's fine, fuck it, come over, she would have.
Right.
But it was also a curbside, no contact pickup.
Right.
Where they put the box in her car, she brought the box in her house. I hope she washed her hands. I probably should have told her to, although I assumed she would have understood to do so. But
like when I walk across the street and grab food, I'm only in an interaction for a couple minutes, and there's usually only me and the people who work at the restaurant there, which I'm only interacting with one of them when I'm picking stuff up.
Right.
It's such a low percentage point of what it could be, but then if you really play the numbers out, how many other people go into the restaurant? How many other people have these people been exposed to? How does this go on? And it's just what the world needs most right now are in my opinion, 2 things. One, empathy, which I think we've been in way short supply of for far too long. And the other is critical thinking. And it's hard to embrace both of those at the same time because you have the empathy for people like, hey, I understand you're struggling right now. Mm-hmm. We're struggling right now too, but different people feel it in different ways. And in some cases, many cases, have it a lot harder than, say, we do. So I empathize and I understand that maybe you don't believe in this to the degree that I do, or maybe you can't believe in this to the degree that I do because it affects your life so much that you have no other choice.
Yeah.
But the critical thinking part of me is like, yeah, but the fucking numbers say it ain't going to work out.
Right.
So...
Yeah. I think there's a positive to be taken from all of it, though. You know what I mean? There's definitely things that I miss. I mean... I don't think it's a secret. My wrestling career is slowly dwindling down, right? And so now there's a lot of times where I go to shows and I'm just not excited. because I've been doing this forever, and it's like I'm gonna beat my body up again. Now I'm kind of like, oh, I really miss this, and for whatever little bit of time my body's gonna let me continue to do it, I'm gonna have to do it at 100 million miles an hour at this point because I got to make up for lost time.
Yeah,
Remember the scene in Fight Club where Brad Pitt pulls the gun on the kid and then lets him go, and he's like, tomorrow he's going to have breakfast and it's going to be the best thing he's ever eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, our bass player is 45, and he's on a number of occasions
Don't
been
say
like,
that like it's death, you dick.
but 45 in a local heavy metal band is very different. You know what I mean? And I love the guy.
Quality with it's time to like do a podcast.
Exactly. But he's said a couple times, he goes, I don't know how much time I got left. And part of me is like, I don't think we're coming out of this with a bass player. Because the longer this goes on and the more he's used to just staying at home and not having to fucking deal with driving 5 hours round trip for band practice.
Yeah.
I really, and that's the thing. And I think that's what a lot of people are, Bender, I think you know exactly where my thought is right now on certain people and not having to do something and being like, well, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. We're going to stop. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, I guess if you come to a point where you realize you're done, you're done. But I also think some of us, Bender, you included, myself, when I'm able to do what I do, I'm just like Corey said, I'm going to do it at a fucking million miles an hour because I got to make up for some lost time. And I know the clock is ticking. And you're in a different position because someone is throwing you on your back all the time. I'm just trying to not make my heart explode.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's the mindset and whatever.
Something that makes you reset your priorities and figure out what is most important to you. This is not a situation that anybody deserves to have happen to them, but it is kind of like that this is that moment of, oh shit, things just got real, and when I come out the other side of this, I'm going to be a changed person in certain ways, right. and that is hard. It is uncomfortable. It is life altering in a harsh way, but it can be looked at the end of it, hopefully, as somewhat of an opportunity.
But that's exactly what I was going to say. I think it depends on how you come out the other side is what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
You can either choose to let this defeat you.
We don't know we're going to come out the other side.
Right. You can let this defeat you, or you can let this make you a better person.
Yeah, I think the only regrets I'm going to have during this whole thing is not like taking advantage of the extra time. My wife has had me doing the honeydew lists for, I've gotten a year and a half's worth of projects done in a couple of weekends.
I made a dog castle, and now my wife is like, hey, since you could do this, maybe you should do all this. And I'm like, well, I dug deep for a very specific situation to make this thing happen. I said, and now I'm making fucking rabbit castles and fucking shelves and shit. And what were you going to say, Corey? I see it in your eye.
No, I've got an extra hour and a half a day just from the drive that I'm not utilizing enough.
I get to sleep 45 minutes more a morning because I don't have to shower and drive to work.
Oh, man, I'm not sleeping.
Oh, you don't do that. I do.
But also, fucking Animal Crossing came around at exactly the wrong time for me to get anything out of it.
Jesus Christ. With that, my bladder and the clock is saying we should probably wrap this up because I got to call Dylan. Although a plus side to this is Bender, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the shutdown.
Yeah.
Because I never would have really met you in the capacity I met you if it wasn't for the shutdown and the need to do ACW stuff over YouTube. So there's goods and there's bads. You know what I mean? Yeah. So this is obviously a plus. It's been a joy getting to know you and stuff over the past week, but 2 weeks, however fucking long it's been. Every day is a goddamn blur. I wake up and I rub my eyes and then I start drinking. So with that, we have to rate Blair Witch Project on our Marry, Fuck, Kill. Simply, would you marry it? Would you fuck it? Would you kill it? Marry, do you want to keep it? Fuck it. Would you watch it once, let her go? Kill her? Would you never watch it again? I have a feeling I know what Corey's going to do, but Bender, as the guest, you have to make your decision first.
I'm going to go fuck it.
Really? So this is your pick, and you just want to, you're
allowed.
Yeah. See, the problem is, after watching it, we said it a couple of times, I think the way that they built the story was cool, and I think they tried to stay to a certain narrative and, try to make it feel real. And the ending still got me. Like, I still got goosebumps a little bit the minute they went in the house. But outside of that, it was really difficult to, like, keep my attention, especially now when there's 8 billion things happening and I've got a phone in my hand that does everything.
Yep.
20 years ago, that obviously wasn't a thing. So I tend to, especially now, it's hard for me to just sit and watch something and not be checking an email or writing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, good for a one-time watch.
Corey, how about you?
When I texted you yesterday, crying on my toilet, I was pretty sure it was very obvious I was going to kill the fucking movie.
I knew, but semantics.
Yeah. On the other hand, coming at it from the conversation, I can't believe I've watched it a second time in a row. I did feel like what this movie achieved is a big deal. What this movie made in its legacy, as much as that legacy can be, detracted from and say, well, the second one wasn't that great, the third one was cool but didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I think that is so incredible that I'm going to up my score to a fuck it.
Fair enough. Makes perfect sense. I'm a solid fuck it. It's a really good movie, but I'm not gonna cancel plans to watch it ever again. So yeah. With that being said,
I do feel like it's one of those things that if I have the opportunity to introduce it to somebody who wasn't there for it before,
if someone hasn't seen this movie before, they should probably just kill themselves.
No, somebody who wasn't around in the 90s. Those people exist. There are people younger than you, Matt.
No, they're not.
I don't know that they would ever get what this movie was.
Yeah, fuck you and you're making sense. Anyways, Bender, where can people find your wrestlings?
acwwisconsin.com. I just
put that's it? Okay. Well, we're going to be doing another...
Facebook.
Oh, yeah, Nick Colucci on Facebook. We're going to be doing another live stream ACW on Sunday, 2 p.m. Central. What is it? The first 3 matches off of the best of 5 years
5
DVD?
Years.
Yeah. Yeah, I just play the man behind the magic, but I believe, Bender, you're there for all 3 matches doing it?
Yeah, and one of them is I'm in. So...
Oh, yeah.
You get to, and I'm pretty sure that's before I, put on a bunch of weight. So I'm pretty sure it's me in Trunks. I know you'll enjoy
beautiful
that.
The way you are. Yeah, I like to sit here. My wife and I scoot the futon up, and we just play behind the scenes and watch you guys sweat as you try to talk to the internet.
You're right.
Corey, how about you?
I'm just gonna forgo mine and say listen to the Monster Madness podcast. I really love it. I love it a lot.
Glad someone likes it. I hate doing it.
Sure you do.
Shut the fuck up. I can't be like, yeah, it's so fucking cool. I'm on it. I get to talk about stuff. I win trivia all the time. I don't like it for you. I like your co-host. Oh, thank you. That's the exact answer I was looking for. It has nothing to do with me. What about your wife? Hag_attack on Instagram.
Sure.
Yeah. Speaking of dicks, my buddy, God, I don't know which Instagram he uses. I think it's the Wisconsin Skinny on Instagram. Did a adult coloring book with a bunch of penises. So I bet your wife would really be into that.
I'm sure she would. That sounds awesome.
Either that or it's Peter Kugel. Let me look.
That's a weird use case of your Crayola 64 pack, though. It's like, why is it just these 3 colors that you're all used down to the nubs?
I don't even know what to say to that. I'll have to figure it out.
Who goes through that much burnt sienna?
What? Why are dicks burnt sienna?
Well, after.
This is so weird.
If you're doing it right.
Anyways, look at Peter_cool on Instagram if you want to color in dicks. He's my tattoo artist, owner of Wisconsin. God damn it, he's the owner of Wisconsin Skinny. I know he's a sponsor for ACW because I basically told him he had to. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Matt the Lifeguard. My other podcast, Monster Madness, Cast and the Furious with Matt Vincent. My band, John the Lifeguard. You've heard this all before. No one fucking cares. Bender, thank you very much. I'm literally about to piss myself, so I'm trying to get through this really bad, really quickly before my eyes start watering. We will have you back, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, it's been really good having you.
Thank you.
Make sure you thank your wife for letting me take you from one night. So
Will do.
yeah, so that's gonna do it for another.
Stay scary, everybody.
All right, I'm gonna stop YouTube. Beatmaster, Eric, I don't even know if you're still here, but thanks for hanging out. We will see you guys.